Islamic education. Islam has, from its inception, placed a high premium on education and has enjoyed a long and rich intellectual tradition. Knowledge, ilm, occupies a significant position within Islam, as evidenced by the more than 100 references to it in Islam's most revered book, the Quran. The importance of education is repeatedly emphasized in the Quran with frequent injunctions, such as in chapter Al-Mujadilah 11, Toha 114, Al-Baqarah 282, in which such verses provide a forceful stimulus for the Islamic community to strive for education than learning. Islamic education is uniquely different from other types of educational theory and practice largely because all the encompassing influence of the Quran. The Quran serves as a comprehensive blueprint for both the individual and the society and as the primary source of knowledge. The advent of the Quran in the 7th century was quite revolutionary for the predominantly illiterate Arabian society. Arab society had enjoyed a rich oral tradition, but the Quran was considered the word of God and needed to be organically interacted with by means of reading and reciting its words. Hence, reading and writing for the purpose of accessing the full blessings of the Quran were an inspiration for most Muslims. Thus, education in Islam unequivocally derived its origin from symbiotic relationships with religious instruction. Education in the context of Islam is regarded as the rational, spiritual, and social dimensions. Knowledge in Islamic educational theory is gained in order to actualize and perfect all dimensions of the human being. From an Islamic perspective, the highest and most useful model of perfection is the Prophet Muhammad, and the goal of Islamic education is that people be able to live as he lived. Education in Islam is twofold, namely acquiring intellectual knowledge through the application of reason and logic, and developing spiritual knowledge, derived from divine revelations and spiritual experience. According to the worldview of Islam, provision in education must be made equally for both. Acquiring knowledge in Islam is not intended as an end, but as a means to stimulate a more elevated moral and spiritual consciousness, leading to faith and righteous action. Inception, injunction, predominantly, unequivocally, advent, perspective, divine, consciousness. Divine text. Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and its aim is to meet the social needs of the Muslim society as well as to improve the economic position in Islam. Zakat is an obligatory payment, like a tax, and its English translation is poor dues. It could be called a divine tax, for it has been prescribed by God in the Holy Quran and the sayings of the Prophet. The word zakat means purification, blessing, and increasing. It is a kind of protection of the wealth of those who are rich. When a Muslim pays his zakat, he is protecting his money from unexpected disaster. There are many kinds of zakat. Zakat al-fitr, which is an obligatory payment by Muslims, slave or free man, male or female, young and old, and it should be made before the Eid prayer. It's usually given from the food of the majority, rice, wheat, or grain. The cost of this could be given instead, and it's preferable in a country like Indonesia for it to be done by giving money. Ibn Abbas said that God's messenger prescribed the zakat relating to the breaking of the fast as purification from empty and obscene words and as food for the poor. Other kinds of zakat are zakat al-mal, meaning money zakat, either gold and silver, zakat al-tijaro, meaning trade zakat, zakat al-an'am, meaning cattle zakat, involving camels, cows, or sheep, zakat al-zuru', while al-thamar, meaning cereals and fruits. These last two were one of kind. For zakat to be compulsory, there must be two conditions. Firstly, it must reach their nisab, but secondly, it must have been earned by the prayer for 1 complete year. Islam has prescribed zakat for all kinds of property for the benefit of needy people. It is not always paid in money, but in some cases, in cattle, cereals, and fruits, as in Africa and similar countries. But in more developed countries, trade and business are the most common ways of paying zakat, and money is used for this purpose. The aim of collecting zakat is to serve members of society and to meet their needs and help them to overcome the difficulties they are facing. Some people are in difficulty because they haven't the ability to work. Some because they meet with some kinds of disaster, and some because they are old and need help. Zakat in Islam is a source of security from any hardship for all members of society. Those who have the right to receive money from zakat are mentioned in the Holy Quran. In case there is nobody who is in need of zakat, it will be collected by the head of the community, who will spend it for the benefit of the whole, using it, for example, for the building of schools, hospitals, mosques, or other similar things. Pillar, pillar. Tax, tax. Purification, purification. Compulsory, compulsory. Hardship, hardship. Prescribe, prescribe. Overcome, overcome. Wealth, wealth.